Oh my God, fucking amazing. So cool. We're set now, Dustin. We're set now. With the Puffin, Productive Puffin, like the whole concept of VeeFriends was for me to build a universe of characters that spoke to the things that I've been speaking to as GaryVee, knowing that I'm limited as one human being to get out the message that I really want. I wanted to create my Pokemon, my Disney. There was these books when I first came to America and learning how to speak English called Sweet Pickles, and they were like these alliteration characters. And so that was like a big inspiration in my whole life. And then when I was going to this, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. And so I wanted to do the alliteration thing. And so Productive, I was just looking up all sorts of animals. Like the puffin just looked, like the beak, it just looked cool and just looked fucking focused. And so it's kind of an esoteric, random character. Like I don't think, like people love elephants and lions and giraffes. Like nobody's rolling around and like, yo, the puffin is my fucking guy. So I kind of felt like there's something about that underdog mentality that allows the character to be productive, which is why I wanted to do the puffin.
We got the puff print on the puffin too.
Yeah, the whole thing's like, fuck, it's really well done.
Someone behind the camera asked, what excited you about collaborating with Paul?
I mean, not to embarrass him in front of him, but like, the answer is like, what doesn't? As we started getting to know each other virtually, digitally, through social, through the years, he's a truly an actual icon in his craft. And I think the way he was just referring to, I needed to look outside my own craft to be like, wait, LeBron does this, like Kobe did this. I've always kind of done that, because I didn't have the luxury of being an athlete, even though I loved it so much. So for business, I would always look to sports and other places. And I've just always really, appreciate a very specific thing, which is someone that's great at something and is nice. And I just loved through the years, Nike executives, I read so much of people talking. Like even when we first got connected, I remember vividly early Twitter, when Twitter was super small, somebody tweeting, super small, less than 100,000 people, 500,000 people, so you saw like everything. Somebody in San Francisco tweeting that they ran into him and how nice he was, and it just took note.
That's fun.
I believe in that shit. So I think what made it interesting was I knew that collaborations were gonna be a big part of VeeFriends, and I wanted to do it with people I admired, brands that I thought were interesting. Obviously, Ben is so close, we try to be very thoughtful of like, what are the right brands, what represents what we're trying to do. Obviously, his interest in the subject matter, and like when he brought up Paul, I was like, that's exactly right. And so it just became very easy mentally to be like, that's exactly what I want to do.
You guys been DMing back and forth?
Oh, for a long time.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Yeah, finally get to meet the guy in person, you know what I mean?
Really, it's super nice. People love to shit on technology. Oh, social's bad for this. Internet's bad for this. Fucked up everything. Like, this is the first time we're meeting.
Yeah.
I feel like I've known him for 15 fucking years. like, people love to look at the negative. I tend to look at the positive about things. Like, it's crazy the emotion and the energy I feel, and that would not be possible without social and the internet.
That's awesome.
And so I just wish people chose to look for the good. I think there's a lot of momentum right now to choose to look at the bad, and I think we got to get out of that. And so this is a perfect real life example of how much good digital infrastructure can do, because relationships are the most important thing in the world. Acquaintances, friendships, family, love. So it's nice.
Nice. Quick question
Yeah.
off subject.
Yep.
Were you always, prior to social media, were you always like a social person?
Yes.
Always around?
Yeah, and the way I show up in social is very much how I showed up in life. I am addicted to human interaction and all of it. I really liked 80-year-olds when I was a kid and would sit with like grandparents at the park and talk to them. I had a very unique kind of like you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s where like high school and junior high, like it was very, like you couldn't be popular unless you were willing to compromise and pick on people and like do that thing. And I really kind of like skated my way through, meaning I just never compromised on being kind and was able to hang out with the cool kids as much as like the nerd kids. And
you see that in social media now, like the extremes people are willing to go just for attention, just for views, just for whatever, like.
Well, people need outside, people need outside validation.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is the framework that I'm trying to talk to more people about, which is like, why? Why?
Thank God.
Like, you know, if you can understand why you're looking for it and what itch you're trying to scratch and what hole you're trying to fill, you can start reverse engineering it and doing it in a healthier way than looking for it out of flexing or having stuff or compromising who you are to get the laugh or the head nod. Yeah, I think about that a lot.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, well, you were lucky to be born with that disposition. I was
Introverted?
Shy kid, super shy. And that's why I think I gravitated towards skateboarding.
Right, it was
I didn't need a team.
Correct.
I played everything, little league, everything. But like when I found skateboard, I could just go when I want, do what I want. I didn't have to like interact too hard with anybody. I was just so introvert. So when social media first came around, I didn't really get it. I didn't grasp it. I'm
Makes sense.
Who's gonna care about what my food I had today?
Yeah.
Like why do I want to post a picture of the food I had or whatever? I was just so like I don't get it. And then slowly but surely my partner Heath put me onto it and made me get Instagram and do all that. I get it now.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's funny, I'm the reverse. The reason I think I'm an entrepreneur is I like to make things for the world. I want everybody to interact with my stuff. But it's cool, it's also cool to evolve, right? Like, you know, for all my extroverted DNA, I love a good flight where nobody can bother me. I love the shower. The shower's my favorite damn place on earth. Like nobody's gonna bother me. I can't even be by my phone will get fucked up in here. This is a good place. So like, you know, it's about understanding what makes you tick. And one thing I've been really thinking a lot about lately is letting people feel comfortable to reframe their identity. So I've noticed some people kind of always be known by being snarky and cynical and introverted, and they've changed their mind in their late 20s, their 30s, their 40s, but they're almost scared to go there because they're known as this.
Right.
And so I'm trying to think about how to talk about that more, which is like, shit changes.
Yeah, because if social media wasn't around, naturally you're gonna be a different person from 20 to 30, from 30 to 40.
Look at Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
In 1992, the Snoop Dogg that I discovered is very different. Like shit changes.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think, you know, certain people do it gracefully. Snoop Dogg's a really good example. And they just do it because I think they own who they are 100%.
And they just move.
They just let the evolution
100%.
happen. And people it almost happens like unnoticingly.
But you know, it's hard because in Snoop's scenario, and for some of us in here a little bit older, the majority aren't, in the 90s, if you were gonna be in hip hop, you had to make pretend you were hard, even if you weren't. There was only one thing that worked in hip hop.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, Timbos, starter jackets, and like killing people. Like it was just super like that. And so for a lot of people, if they love skate or BMX or food or wine or business, there's this, the culture of the moment has a certain thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be an individual within it when you love a genre.
Sure.
It's a really interesting challenge for a lot of people, but the more we pound it, the more we can have creative things happen.
Absolutely. Like in skating, it was kind of like the taboo to work out and train like a real athlete. There's like, man, just fucking skate, bro. That's your workout.
Right.
You skated today, like, and then you know that's why you're 25 years old and you feel like
You're
75.
back.
You're like, oh. And you're like, well, yeah, it's because you don't know what a foam roller is, guy. Like you don't know
Soft
you don't
tissue
know what
work.
a gym is, yeah, like
Fascia.
Next thing you know. Oh, great, I'm 37, I still feel great, like cool.
Cool.
Like, all right, who's upset now, who's bummed out? You just have to, I guess that long-term vision will carry you past all that, you know.
Makes a lot of
that
sense.
criticism.
Makes a lot of sense.
Someone behind the camera asks to Paul, what does it finally mean to meet Gary in person after observing him on social media for so long?
Oh, I'm tripping out right now. It's Gary, you know what I mean? I'm tripping out. We're here in the skate park, and he's here standing in the skate park, and we're talking about a collab we're doing together. It's crazy because there's so many. I mean, as with so many people in the world, like you just go on Gary's page and any one of his socials, and you just catch a snippet, and you're like, holy shit, that's what I'm going through right now. Like, and you're talking to some kid or somebody who just came up and you just. It's impressive to me, like how, like, no matter what the subject or what the question is, you just have a straight stream of consciousness for whatever it is. Boom, here's what it is. I'm like, how is he so fucking clear-minded on that answer right there instantly? And it's so impressive to me, you know?
Back to the correlations, it's why I get other people that are great at certain things. Like, for the last, 4 years, I'm like, man, if I had a sense, even an ounce of rhythm, soul, or any music capability, I could be a crazy rapper. But I have zero. It comes to me, but there's like all the words, like it's how I talk,
right.
It all works, and then the pipe of any musical capability at all doesn't exist in my body, and thus it breaks. And then I watch people do it, and I'm just so impressed, like Lil Wayne going into the booth, and just spitting from the top of the head and leaving is how I do that. There is literally nothing that anybody here can come up to me and talk about that doesn't come super simple to me, because it's complete clarity for me on life.
That's crazy.
But I can't do that of the things I want to say under the genre of the context of music.
Sure.
And I want to. And so when people want to do the way I speak or this, I'm like, I get it. I'm like, I'm not sure, but for you, the symmetry or seeing it or innovating, innovating, I think, comes from that as well. When you can see something that nobody else can see, and then you do it, everyone's completely taken aback. But for the person that's doing it,
it's
you know this. You're like,
hits you
you're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like waking up.
Yeah.
And so I'm very flattered by that. And I think the thing that I'm most passionate about is getting everybody to understand that they should fight to figure out what that thing is for themselves. Yeah. And even if it's something small, to the world, it's big to you. For example, my thing and your thing, actually, and let's talk video games, skateboarding, and entrepreneurship, 1987. I was 12, you're looking at the world of what do you want to be, what do you want to do? There's not one person you can look at that is an entrepreneur. The word didn't even fucking exist. There was business people, but they were old. They were 80-year-old. There was nothing cool. There was no skateboard. You couldn't really look at things. And that's why I keep pushing people. I'm like, the thing that you are great at right now, that you maybe somebody watching this right now is incredibly gravitated towards floral arrangements. They just can't help it. They just go to the nursery and they're obsessed. If you're 17 right now, and you're the thing that is the most important to me, comes the most natural to me, the thing I want to do all the time is be crazy with doing floral arrangements, it's gonna be hard for you to see the rock star of floral arrangements. They exist, there's people that do weddings and stuff, but it's not none of us can name the fucking LeBron of floral arrangements.
Okay.
My argument is, but you couldn't do that with Tony Hawk. You couldn't say Tony Hawk or you or others in 1982 if skateboarding was your most important thing. It hadn't happened yet. With video games, Booga for Fortnite, that guy didn't exist. My son knows who Booga is for Fortnite, but in 1987, when we all fucked with video games, there wasn't a single famous video game player.
Right.
So for everybody at home right now that has something that doesn't seemingly look like it's the thing, it might become the thing, and why compromise and become a lawyer or a skateboarder or an entrepreneur when you're the fucking greatest floral arrangement person of all time, and just keep going with it, because the world might come to you.
I think it will. I believe in the law of attraction, and
I do.
If you're that obsessed with something, you're that great at something, the world will reorganize itself.
I agree.
To your
you become the fucking torchbearer of the thing, and if nothing else, the world is big and the world is small. If nothing else, you'll just enjoy what the fuck you do for the rest of your life, and your little world will fuck with you.
Yeah.
You'll be the best floral arranger of the 1,000 people that you know that do floral arrangement.
That's why I feel really good about I was a single child growing up, and I was super shy, as I said, but that's why I feel that helped me in the sense, because whatever I fell into, whatever I was drawn to and I became obsessed with, I had nobody else around me to tell me, yo, that's whack, it's stupid, stop thinking about that art, yeah, that's fucking dumb, why are you doing that? Like, I had nobody to tell me this is cool or not cool. It was just like, I was just drawn to what I was drawn to, and I would go into it full-heartedly, and it would run its course, and I'd go on to the next thing or whatever, and then I found skateboarding. But I never had an older brother or cousin, everybody all around to tell me like, you're an idiot, stupid, you can't do that, or whatever. It was just like open road.
It's funny you say that. I'm the oldest, and I think a lot about, had I been the youngest, would things have been framed up for me differently? And especially being an 80s child, it wasn't even your parents, you just went outside and fucking discovered.
Yeah. And I think a lot of my friends who have siblings, the youngest one is the toughest one.
Of course.
Because they got everybody beating them down. The oldest one is the sissiest one.
Well, not me, I'm much tougher than AJ. AJ. I'm kidding.
You know. Yeah, Gary.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I'm so excited about this, you can't even imagine.